Yeah. 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 So many lies that you hear from the net, they don't get her respect. She reporting the truth, not a check. You want an unbiased opinion straight from the chest, not a bit of accomplice or someone here for a check. Tune in, these are thoughts from a lawyer on a mission who goes so hard it's like she works on commission. Trolls in the comments might say she tripping cause they lack the knowledge, they don't know they missing. Got a couple current events that you like, wanna know about law from the eyes. Tired of all these blogs running lies because their agendas are disguised. Tune in to the intellect, cause I'm sure y'all missing all the facts of the case that she steady is gifting. Someone here for the people, man, it's so uplifting. If you ain't subscribed yet, then you just omitting facts.
Hello, everyone. It is Pam Esquire, also known as the Law Intellect, or your social media lawyer, or your social media juror. I hope everybody is having a fantabulous day. We got another one. We have another lawsuit. I want to apologize first to all of the people that were over there on that Harvey Pierre lawsuit. So what had happened was I was going to go over that today, but literally as soon as I made the live, then this lawsuit came out with Jamie Foxx. You guys will see that this lawsuit is so fresh off the press that the courts haven't even accepted it yet. So it'll have like a bunch of red at the bottom to tell you that it hasn't even been accepted by the court. So then I said, all right, I'll go ahead and schedule it for tomorrow. So if you guys did go to that video, it was for today at first. But then everyone was so confused and there was so many people over there that I was like, let me just try to delete this whole thing. So I don't go live and I'm talking to myself because everybody's over there waiting on me to go. So hopefully tomorrow evening, if you guys have time, I know tomorrow is a family day, or perhaps Friday, we'll go over the Harvey Pierre lawsuit. But yeah, I did see. Listen, I can't keep up with all the lawsuits that's being filed, and I know a lot of people are wondering why. Let me tell you what I predict the reason why is. Partially because I know some people are saying Cassie and she's starting this trend, but there was a adult survivor statute, and that's why I put it in the title. You had literally until Friday, meaning this Friday, November 24th of 2023, in order to file claims under the adult survivor statute. So people may have contemplated it, that they were going to file, and you literally only had between 6 months and a year from when this was enacted to file. And the reasoning for that there was part of it probably is the Me Too movement, but there have been so many developments of things happening, especially with the Harvey Weinstein. You have Epstein. You have all of these different people from back in the day that were the gatekeepers of entertainment, that were getting that were accused of a lot of things. And because of the statute of limitation, yes, you only have a certain amount of time to bring actions against people. That's criminally and civilly. So civilly, you will have, like, for these type of cases, you'll have like in a essay, it's an assault, it's an assault type of an act. You have a statute of limitation to bring it under a tort claim, which we call torts. So because of these statute, you'll see something about adult gender, something that's targeted towards gender. That those is also another statute that allows you to, even though your statute of limitation has expired, it allows you to go back. Now, this adult survivor statute, which in this lawsuit against Jamie Foxx that we're going to go over, it actually lists the it puts the statute in there, because I was going to read the statute to you guys, but then I seen it was in the lawsuit. So I said, we'll just go over the lawsuit. So you guys, this is where we're at. For those that were wondering why, there was really a window for those that were assaulted back in the day and this is their opportunity to file against these people civilly. Even though the statute may have expired both criminally and civilly, this gives them another route if they do it within the requisite amount of time. Now, what I will say is perhaps there may have been people that didn't know that um, they had any way to get justice, or they didn't have any way to try to file claims because they knew it was so long ago. And the Cassie lawsuit, because they spelled it out, may have given people the legal knowledge that they still have an opportunity to file against these people. But whatever it is, your girl is looking, especially in New York, because this is where these statutes are. And I think they have it in California as well. It's in other states, but those are the entertainment states, California and New York. We're going to have to just keep our eye on the docket, because under the Adult Survivor Statute, they had till Friday. So it wouldn't shock me if these lawyers wasn't working overtime. Thank you so much, Lolisa. Lolisa, happy Thanksgiving to you as well. And to all of you guys, Natalie said this is the season of revelation. I just wanted you guys to know why it seems like it's being back to back to back to back. If people are gonna file, they don't have much time under these statutes. You have to file again for this Adult Survivor Statute. You have till November 24th. That is Friday. Yes. Please be so kind to hit the like button on your way in. Subscribe if you have not done so already. We go over all the cases from the neighborhood to Hollywood. We are the social media jurors. So we try to look at all the evidence. Again, everybody is innocent until proven guilty if it is a criminal case, and everyone is deemed not liable until liability has been established in a civil case. So again, even in this lawsuit against Jamie Foxx, these are just allegations. And the court is so fresh, y'all, that the court hasn't even accepted it yet. It literally has the red at the bottom. So yeah, I would predict there will be a few more cases that we probably will be going over. You said I was expecting to hear more about Bad Boy, but Jamie Foxx has gotten caught up. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you, Cynthia, for liking the video. I appreciate that. And I know some of you guys were a bit confused because again, I did have the Bad Boy former president and then like I said, this Jamie Foxx thing came up and I was like, which do I talk about? Which do I talk about? Because you guys know I try not to blend the videos, because if you want to just know about a specific person, because everybody doesn't care about Diddy, everybody doesn't care about Bad Boys, everybody doesn't care about Jamie Foxx. So I try to separate so you guys can watch it at your leisure. But anyway, without further ado, we are going to go over a lawsuit. This lawsuit was under the pseudonym of Jane Doe. You're going to also see that if and when we go over the ex Bad Boy president lawsuit as well. She's the Jane Doe as well. So they do pseudonames. You know, they don't want people to know who they are, especially with the claims and the allegations that they make. Now, this lawsuit is definitely nowhere near how Cassie's lawsuit was. It's not detailed. Like the allegations are different. They are definitely different. As far as it's considered a sexual assault. However, it's in public. Like it's not the same type of allegation. So let's start before I say too much. So as you guys see right here, we have the parties, and the parties are several. So you have defendant Eric Marlon Bishop, aka Jamie Foxx. You have Catch NYC and Catch Rooftop. So that's supposed to be where this occurred at. Defendant Catch NYC and Rooftop. They have they must have a whole lot of corporations with that same name, because they just listed all of them. That might be it. So they have Mark Birnbaum. They have Who else? Catch Hospitality Group, 25 Ninth Avenue Corp LLC. And I think they just listed wherever they may be registered, where they're authorized to do business and all of that stuff. And then they have their all times defense. Then they got John and Jane Doe's because there may be names of unknown security guards, employees, independent contractors, and or agents of the defendants who were present and working at the aforesaid premises on or about August 26, 2015. So you guys see that this allegation is from 2015. So the statute of limitation would have been expired, but for the Adult Survivors Act, which is New York CPLR section 214-J. So I am going to tell you what this statute says that allows people to sue, because people are wondering why they bringing it so late. Well, once they got the courage, perhaps the statute of limitation was gone. And so now New York statutory law has given them a second bite at the apple, as we call it. So it has, notwithstanding any provision of law which imposes a period of limitation to the contrary, and the provisions of any other law pertaining to the filing of a notice of claim or a notice of intention to file a claim as a condition precedent to commencement of an action or special proceeding, every civil claim or cause of action brought against any party alleging intentional or negligent acts or omissions by a person for physical, psychological, or other injury or condition suffered as a result of conduct which would constitute a SA offense as defined in Article 130 of the Penal Law, committed against such person who was 18 years of age or older, or incest as defined in Section 255.26 or 255.27 of the Penal Code of the Penal Law, committed against such person who was 18 years of age or older, which is barred as of the effective date of this section because the applicable period of limitation has expired, and or the plaintiff previously failed to file a notice of claim or a notice of intention to file a claim, is hereby revived. An action thereon may be commenced not earlier than 6 months after and not later than 1 year and 6 months after the effective date of this section, and any such claim or action, dismissal of a previous action ordered there before the effective date of this section on grounds that such previous action was time barred, and or for failure of a party to file a notice of claim or a notice of intention to file a claim, shall not be grounds for dismissal of a revival action pursuant to this section. Now, this statute went into effect on, it's at the bottom of the actual statute. Hold on one second. This statute went into effect on, let me see, May 24th. Well, it was, they said this one was effective May 24th of 2022. So then they did 6 months after. You couldn't do it for 6 months. How they calculated the 24th of is on November 24th would be the last day, the way they calculated it. So that is why a lot of people are bringing this right now. This week is the courts are jumping with people that have to make a decision whether they want to bring it or they don't want to bring it. So okay, so it's 700 of you guys in here. Make sure you hit that like if you haven't done so. Subscribe to us if you like the content, of course. If you don't, it's cool. So it has the defendant's actions described herein all occurred when plaintiff was over the age of 18 years old and brought within the time frame of the Adult Survivor Acts above on or about August 26, 2015 at approximately 11 p.m. Plaintiff and a friend arrived at 21 9th Avenue for the purpose of getting seats at the rooftop lounge and bar. Upon being seated, Plaintiff noticed that defendant Mark Birnbaum was seated one table away having drinks with defendant Eric Marlon Bishop, aka Jamie Foxx. Not long after being seated, plaintiff and her friend observed a large crowd growing around defendants Birnbaum and Fox's table. As a result, defendant John or Jane Doe's 1 through 10 began moving the crowd of patrons away, including nearly all of the patrons seated at tables near Birnbaum and Fox. Despite them being the only two remaining in the area, plaintiff and her friend were never asked to move from their table located besides Birnbaum and Fox's table. At some point near approximately 1 a.m. on August 27, 2015, after many patrons had left the area, plaintiff's friend stood up from the table, walked over to defendant Fox, and asked if he would take a picture with her and plaintiff. Fox stated, quote, "Sure, baby, anything for you," end quote, and walked to plaintiff's table. Several photographs were taken. You guys see all this red is just as letting you know this is a copy of a pleading filed electronically pursuant to the court rules, which at the time of the printout from the court system's electronic website has not yet been reviewed and filings for various reasons. So it has not been reviewed by the court. It is not considered official yet. That's what that means. While taking photographs, plaintiff observed that Fox seemed intoxicated. At one point, Fox roughly grabbed plaintiff's phone out of her hand and took additional photographs. Fox then made several comments to plaintiff, including, quote, "Wow, you have that supermodel body," end quote. Quote, "You smell so good," end quote. And quote, "You look like Nikki," end quote. When plaintiff asked, quote, "Who's Nikki?" Fox replied, quote, "Gabrielle Union," end quote. Like, what? Fox proceeded to grab plaintiff by her arm and pulled her to the back area of the rooftop. Again, y'all, these are all allegations. Once in a more secluded area, Fox placed both of his hands on plaintiff's waist, moved them under plaintiff's crop top, and began rubbing her breast. Plaintiff was caught off guard and attempted to step away from Fox. Plaintiff noticed defendant John Doe, a security guard at one of the defendants some distance away, who saw what was happening but walked further away. Fox proceeded to slide his hands into plaintiff's pants and put his fingers on and in plaintiff's vagina and anus. As this was happening, plaintiff's friend walked over looking for plaintiff. Fox stopped touching plaintiff and walked over to where defendant John Doe, a security guard, was standing. That no negligence or intentional acts on the part of the plaintiff caused or contributed to the said heinous touching and sexual assault of plaintiff. That by reason of the foregoing, plaintiff was injured, was rendered sick, sore, lame, and disabled, was caused to undergo medical treatment and advice, was unable to pursue her usual and regular activities, was caused to undergo great conscious pain and suffering, continues to undergo such, and will permanently be affected by the injuries and emotional distress she incurred as a result of the sexual assault, abuse, assault, and battery. That as a result of this heinous acts, negligence and gross negligence of the defendants, as aforesaid, plaintiff suffered and continues to suffer severe emotional distress and anxiety, humiliation, embarrassment, post-traumatic stress disorder, and other physical and emotional damage. Plaintiffs entitled to recover damages from defendants in an amount that exceeds the monetary limit of all lower courts that would have jurisdiction of this matter, plus punitive damages. This cause of action falls within one or more of the exemptions set forth in CPLR section 1602. So the first cause of action is SA. So those are all of the facts. That's why I told you this is totally different. Totally different than what we seen with Cassie. I'm going to look at your comments in a minute because I'm sure you guys have a whole lot and a whole lot of questions. But the first question I noticed was, did you say stop? Did you say no? Did you say not now? Did you say, oh no? Did you like, what did you do? Because that's not in the complaint unless I just happened to overlook it. She just said she was in shock. That was it. I was just wondering. Tiptoe through tulips. That's what you got to say? You know what? I just wonder. I want you guys to put on your thinking caps and come with the questions, and because you got to look at it from both sides. Are there victims out here? Absolutely. But are there people that are going to take a little bit of advantage of what is going on right now? Absolutely. It's that can happen as well. So we're just gonna weigh it. We're gonna weigh it. No judgment, no condemnation here. We're just trying to get the facts. That's what we do over here. So the first cause of action is essay and battery. And they allege that on the night of August 26, 2015, and into the early morning hours of August 27, 2015, and all times herein mentioned, defendant Fox operated through his position as a well-known celebrity, committed the heinous acts as set forth above. These unlawful actions constitute an essay and battery upon plaintiff as Fox intentionally and without consent used force to offensively touch plaintiff's person. So that's just the basic definition, if you're in law school, of what assault is. Well, really, that's what battery is. Assault is verbal. Assault, in theory, if you want to go technical on what you learn in law school, battery is the touching without permission. Assault is you put them in fear and apprehension of being touched, is what assault is. Somehow over the years, I think they've just blended them all together. Fox's actions were willful, wanton, and malicious. At all times described herein, Fox consciously disregarded plaintiff's rights and feelings, acted with the knowledge of or with reckless disregard for the fact that his conduct will cause plaintiff to feel violated, humiliated, will cause emotional and mental injuries to plaintiff, and result in her enduring pain and suffering. As a result of Fox's conduct described herein, plaintiff has suffered and continues to suffer physical and emotional injuries, anxiety, distress, embarrassment, and economic harm. Plaintiff is claiming and is entitled to recover all applicable damage, including but not limited to damages for pain and suffering, economic loss, as well as punitive damages in an amount that exceeds the jurisdiction of all lower courts. So they ain't really put an amount right there. Maybe they do it at the end. I haven't gotten all the way down there yet, but they're just saying whatever amount, every court has its jurisdictional limit. So where I am, and anybody from New York can tell me what your jurisdictional limits are, but we have district court, which, and of course you have small claims court that, self-representing there, and you have to have a certain amount. But you have district court, which is under less than 25,000. So literally you can sue in there as long as it's 24,999. That's in Michigan. You go to circuit court if it's 25,000 all the way up to whenever. So they have, in different courts, you have certain jurisdictional amounts. So they're alleging that whatever amount they're saying is within the jurisdiction of this court. So the second cause of action is negligent hiring, training, and supervision against defendants Catch NYC and Roof, Catch NYC Inc., Mark Birnbaum, Catch Hospitality Group, 25 9th Avenue Corp. LLC, and 9th Avenue LLC. So that the defendants Catch NYC and Roof, Catch NYC, okay, all those names again, through their owners, managers, supervisors, officers, directors, agents, and our employees were negligent in the hiring, training, lack of supervision, management, control, and retention of their employees, and more specifically of defendants John Jane Does 1 through 10, who are working on the night of August 26, 2015 into the early morning hours of August 27, 2015. Okay, I'm gonna read more before I because I'm trying to understand what they got to do with the cost of tea in China, but that the defendants Catch and all of those people again through their owners, managers, supervisors, officers, directors, agents, and or employees were under duty to exercise reasonable care for their patrons including plaintiff, so as to prevent the intentional heinous acts that Fox inflicted on the plaintiff. So they're saying all these people allowed this to occur. And this is negligent supervision. That the defendants, through their owners, managers, supervisors, officers, directors, agents, and/or employees, had knowledge of Fox's propensities for a back up. So all these people, through their owners, managers, supervisors, officers, directors, agents, and/or employees, had knowledge of Fox's propensities for aggressive behavior towards females, the potential for unwanted SA touching, and has his bad disposition when consuming excessive alcohol. How would they know this? Exactly. I'm gonna need more information in this complaint. The above defendants failed to properly train their staff, including defendants John and Jane Doe 1 through 10, how to properly observe, report, and prevent the situation in which plaintiff found herself. How to observe when a patron, such as Fox, has consumed an excessive amount of alcohol and should not be served anymore, and then otherwise ensuring the safety of their patrons from unwanted and abusive SA touching. Defendants, and they name all of them again, through their owners, managers, supervisors, officers, directors, agents, and/or employees, including defendants John and Jane Doe's 1 through 10, failed to use reasonable care to prevent the acts described herein. That the defendants breached their duty of care to plaintiff by failing to provide adequately for the protection of persons lawfully upon, within, and wherein the premises, and more particularly for the plaintiff herein, and failing to protect the plaintiff against injury caused by the conduct of their employees and agents, and failing to provide security, adequate security, and proper security within the premises, although they knew or should have known of the dangers existing thereabouts, and failing to operate the premises in a reasonably safe manner in order to protect all persons lawfully upon the premises, and that they knowingly and intentionally placed the plaintiff in a dangerous situation and a position of peril, and that they caused, created, or contributed to the dangerous conditions and situations existing on the premises at the time of this occurrence, and failing to supervise and/or adequately supervise the activities of the employees, and violating those statutes, rules, regulations, and ordinances governing the management, security, and control of the premises held out to the plaintiff, and in failing to exercise and in failing to exercise the care, caution, and judgment required of the defendants under all of the circumstances that existed at the time of the occurrence and earlier. The defendants, their agents, servants, and employees were otherwise careless, reckless, and negligent under the circumstances then and there existing. As a result of the actions and inactions of the defendant, all of those named defendants again, as described herein, plaintiff has suffered and continues to suffer physical and emotional injuries, anxiety, distress, embarrassment, and economic harm. Plaintiff is claiming is entitled to recover all applicable damages, including but not limited to damages for pain and suffering, economic loss, as well as punitive damages in an amount that exceeds the jurisdiction of the lower court. So they did do the third cause of action as being a violation of the Victims of Gender Motivated Violence Act. That is the one, the other statute that allows you to bring these actions past the statute of limitation. I'm trying. Okay. The third cause of action is the violation of the Victims of Gender Motivated Violence Act and the unlawful conduct of defendant Fox as described herein, including but not limited to Fox's physical and essay of plaintiff in New York, constitutes a crime of violence and a crime of violence motivated by gender against plaintiff as defined by the New York City VGM VPL. The unlawful conduct of defendant Fox as described herein, including but not limited to Fox's physical and essay of plaintiff in New York City, constitute a crime of violence and a crime of violence motivated by gender against plaintiff as defined in sections 10-1103 And parens, it has the term crime of violence means an act or series of acts that would constitute a misdemeanor or felony against the person as defined in state or federal law, or that would constitute a misdemeanor or felony against property as defined in state or federal law if the conduct presents a serious risk, physical injury to another, whether or not those acts have actually resulted in criminal charges, prosecution, or conviction. And the term crime of violence motivated by gender means a crime of violence committed because of gender or on the basis of gender and due at least in part to an animus based on the victim's gender. It has all the defendants again. They saying that all these defendants that work at this establishment enabled Fox's commission of the crime of violence motivated by gender and are therefore also liable under the VGMVPL as a direct and proximate result of the aforementioned crime of violence and gender motivated violence. Plaintiff has sustained and will continue to sustain monetary damages, physical injury, pain and suffering, and serious psychological and emotional distress, entitling her to an award of compensatory and punitive damages, injunctive and declaratory relief, attorney's fees and costs, and other remedies as the court may deem appropriate. Damages is set forth in section 10-1104. The unlawful conduct of defendant Fox, as described herein, constitute an SA offense as defined in Article 130 of the New York Penal Code, pursuant to section 10-1105A. This cause of action is timely because it is commenced within 2 years and 6 months after September 1st, 2022. So that is the time limit for that statute, where you had, regardless to how long ago it was, you had 6 months, with 2 years and 6 months after September 1st, 2022 to file this. So this is still going to go into, I think, 2024, where this statute is still viable. As a result of the actions and inactions of all defendants as described herein, plaintiff has suffered and continues to suffer physical and emotional injuries, anxiety, distress, embarrassment, economic harm. Plaintiff is claiming and is entitled to recover all applicable damages. Same thing, same verbiage as the one before. So this is the prayer for relief. Wherefore, plaintiff demands judgment against the defendants herein on all causes of action in a sum exceeding the jurisdictional limits of all lower courts, which would otherwise have jurisdiction, plus punitive damages where permitted, together with the costs and disbursements of this action. Let me see what y'all got to say. Yaya said this sound like a groupie hookup gone bad. Let me see. You are training your brain to be uncertain of your rights, your sister rights, your daughter's rights to live safe and get justice should something go wrong. I'm not sure what that even means and what you're talking about. Miss Shell said, okay, so Cassie set the standard. This seems questionable. Brandon Burke said you should not be able to sue a person like this and remain anonymous. No, I don't necessarily agree with that because, again, the way Cassie's was set up, I think Cassie put her name out there because she knew the impact it would have. Because the allegations that Cassie made, the fact that they had to put a trigger warning in that complaint, I was actually shocked that she didn't do a pseudo name and say she was Jane Doe, because those allegations were horrendous that she put in there. This right here, it's very interesting. It's a lot of wordplay in my opinion. I feel like the complaint has a lot of wordplay to try to beef it up to make it sound more than what it is. And I'm not saying it's okay to grope on anybody. I'm not saying it's okay to put your hands down anybody's pants. That is not what I'm saying, because you do that to me, yeah. So that's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is for her to say she was in shock, it's almost like, I guess, trying to relay, and I'm just assuming that perhaps you were frozen, so you just couldn't say no, or you could, because people are going to ask, well, did you say no? Because it's an unwanted touching. So how do you know if it's an unwanted touching if you never say that I don't want this? If you look in Cassie's lawsuit, she was very specific that she said no when she accused Diddy of the RA, because she knew that she had relationship with him before. So he can argue, this is what we did. We had rough, that's what we did. But she said she was very specific. No means no, regardless. Whether you in the middle of it, starting it, about to, or any of that. So how do you know it's an unwanted touching when we don't know what Jamie Foxx or anybody else is accustomed to? People might just give it to them. A lot of these people, they show up at hotel rooms, they find out where you are when you're in their city, and they throw it at them. So again, the fact she said he was drunk, so maybe he was a little bit too aggressive. I don't know all of the fact, but it was just interesting to me. And that's not to negate that she feels violated, but it was just interesting to me how whoever this person is just never said, listen, I don't want this. Don't let me have to need you. Don't let me. And then for it to sue the other entities, when you're suing the other entities, what exactly did you want them to do? How would they know first of all, how would they know, as you're saying, you're going to have to bring evidence that you guys have knowledge that there is a propensity of him to act like this in public, and that he has a propensity to do this or whatever when he gets drunk, like you alleged. So you're going to have to say, or that he's had excessive alcohol. Usually you worry about excessive alcohol when people are drinking and driving, because you have what's called dram shop. We call it dram shop. So in a dram shop case, it's basically, if I'm your barmaid and I'm giving you a bunch of drinks and I know you're inebriated, but I go ahead and I say, okay, and I keep giving it to you knowing you're visibly drunk, and I keep giving you and serving you drinks and just taking them good tips, and then I let you walk out of there stumbling, and you get in a car and you go hit someone and you unalive them, that establishment is going to be responsible. That's when they really pay attention to how, if you've been drinking too much, because they can be responsible for you doing that to somebody because they excessively served you drinks. So in this case, how were the individual employees, and this is just hypothetical, it may be more that come out. If I were a betting woman, all these people are going to file a motion to dismiss this complaint, probably as their first response based on the pleadings. They probably are all going to try to dismiss it. Especially those is the establishment, because to say negligent hiring oftentimes mean that they weren't trained properly in certain areas. When you're trying to be a server, are you really trying to go try to break up and make somebody safe from some alleged SA or whatever? So those are a little shaky in my opinion, but I guess I'm not understanding what they expected these people to do. Like, what exactly? And you guys can help me out. I don't profess to know everything. I do plaintiff's work, so I would be on this end when it comes to civil. This is the end that I'm on. I very rarely defend, but I don't see what these other entities has to do with anything. You said, thank you, Pam. You did a great job reading the claims. I'm intellectually stumped by Jane Doe's claims. Thank you, G. G said that for the Cash App. I appreciate that. And all of this, somebody's brain is intellectually trained. No, my brain is not intellectually trained to believe. I know what you need to win in court. That's what my brain is intellectually trained for. Secondly, I do wrongful convictions. I know people that have been wrongfully convicted. So I am not that person. I look at both ends. I am not that person. I probably never will be that person that just takes everything that everybody says at face value. I just don't do it. It's all about evidence. That's what you go to court for. I think you're intellectually trained to just automatically believe what somebody says when it's a woman. And it may be because a lot of things happen to people personally and nobody believed them. So they just have this propensity to just believe everybody. But there are people that make things up. I'm not saying one way or another whether this is this lady's case because I don't know. I just know what's in this complaint. And to me, there's a lot of missing information that may come out and be revealed if this, if this progresses past the initial start. If it goes past them trying to dismiss the case, then we'll know more information. But no, you're not going to see that from me where I'm just going to believe face value. These are all allegations. And again, I was very specific when it came to Cassie's case, how she intentionally put that it was an unwanted touching. That's what assault is. How do you tell somebody, well, just because you didn't say no? Well, how am I supposed to know? Like, what are you talking about? And that doesn't make sense. And it doesn't make sense to me. That's just my opinion. So Michelle said, agreed. It's missing. Yes. Evidence. Listen, that's it. Because to see clients, and maybe because of my experience, you guys don't understand why I am the way that I am. But to see clients that and I'm gonna have one of my clients come on here before that did 26 years for being wrongfully convicted because somebody pointed him out and they actually testified against him and had a nice, story against him, and he didn't get out for 26 years. So the way I look at everything is in an objective manner. If I feel like I can't be objective, just like I say with my family and my friends, I know I can't be objective. So I don't handle cases for my family and my friends because I'm going to believe whatever the heck they say. Point blank, period. You say they did it, dang it, they did it. And because I know that I'm like that, I don't represent my friends and my family. But you have to be objective because you don't want, I don't know. And the touch comes after the facts. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Oh wow. Sabrina said, I wouldn't be surprised if trans women file suits because those would be high profile too. That would be very, very interesting. And to do it under that Gender Protection Act as well. Based on their gender. That would be very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. So thank you, Silver Blue. I think you're awesome too. Yeah, I think it's more information that will probably come out. TMZ reported on this, and they basically said that's probably why their article was so kind of skimpy. It seemed skimpy. That's what made me want to look at the actual lawsuit because there wasn't much for them to probably put in the article based on what's out there. Now, I do believe they have to request that their client be allowed to continue to go under as a Jane Doe. So, the court has to decide if that's okay for them to continue as a Jane Doe. Sometimes they don't allow you to go under as a Jane or a John Doe because you have the right to know who your accuser is. He's accused of groping someone in an establishment when he was drunk and digitally placing his fingers inside her and said, the other allegations in some is that the people that own the establishment work at the establishment, nobody really did anything, and they had a duty to protect her from being assaulted by Jamie Foxx. She left and didn't complain to the restaurant management. That's an interesting point, Femi Bruley. That's a very interesting. Was there an incident report? Who else? Because they mentioned a friend came over there and then he stopped, but did the friend mention anything? Like who are going to be the people that corroborate these events? Because he's clearly going to deny it and say, I don't even know what you're talking about. The other guy that's in a lawsuit with him is probably going to deny. I'm not even sure why he's in it because he was just sitting at the table, right? With Jamie Foxx. So, yeah. All I know is Jamie is known in LA for his wild parties he used to throw back in the day. Yes, I'm aware of that too. I've done entertainment law and I'm aware of that as well. I've been told the same thing. Sassy said it seems this is difficult to prove. Yeah, this is gonna be a different. I don't see this one. Him, it won't be no. We gonna hurry up and sell in 24 hours for $30 million. Now he might give a couple of dollars for it to settle. I'm not saying he won't just settle it because some people just don't want to be involved in litigation. Jamie Foxx probably like, I'm busy. I don't have time to be dealing with this. How do we make this go away? So it may be if a dismissal doesn't just happen off of the pleading, the way it's as written, off the face of the pleading, then perhaps, she may get a couple of dollars from it. Who knows? Ooh, you said no. Oh, Trey Songz has a couple of. I've done some for anybody that's new. I've done a couple of videos on Trey Songz, so y'all go check them out. I'm gonna have to attach this to this video. Trey Songz, Chris Brown. Actually, in a Trey Songz case that occurred in Florida, it's at a standstill right now. He's trying to get it dismissed. That I was covering. P. Diddy was actually in that case too, but he was never served. And it was kind of, they were accusing in that lawsuit with Trey Songz, it was very similar to this, where because it was at Puff Daddy's home, they were saying he allowed them to drink and do all the stuff that they did or whatever. So, but he never was served in that lawsuit. And Trey Songz, that case is wild too, because the attorney is accused of trying to basically bribe somebody, according to them, to testify on the Jane Doe's or the lady that is suing Trey Songz on their behalf. It's a lot. Femi said I would have called out to the security guard that was within view. Is there no medical report where she went to the hospital, records from her psychiatrist? And yeah, all of that stuff is gonna have to come out. That's discoverable when you make a claim of emotional distress. Automatically, they are entitled to your therapy records, your psychiatric records, all of that, because you have to prove that. That these are all legit questions and they may be answered, and they may just wanted to make a bare bones complaint because they knew that we were going to read it, because you see how fast TMZ got it, and the fact that we were able to look at it and it hasn't even been approved by the court because it's so new. So they probably filed it later on in the day, and then court is out of session for the holiday. It's 1,000 of you guys in here. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. So, yeah, and the Cassie situation. I mean, now that we're talking about it, so I don't know what it is with the Shade Room, guys. Shade Room could post stuff for 2 hours, and when your girl comment, somehow I go to the top of the list and people want to argue with me all day. It has to be because I have Esquire at the end, so everybody feels like that's just what I want to do, is argue with people all day, but I really don't, unless I'm getting paid. I really don't want to argue with people all day. But they were arguing because you know how Aubrey O'Day from Danity Kane, how she made her post and she had to clarify about her post and was basically saying money over accountability and all of that. So all I did, guys, was I posted, it was a civil lawsuit. So all she can get is money. So whether it happened today or whether it happened 2 years from now, she was going to get money. Like, it doesn't matter. That's not even like, it didn't make sense to me why people were just so outraged. And it's like she already poured herself out in this plea. It read like a book. It read like a documentary. So you can't say that it was much left out, except she may have left some more heightened events out. But enough for us to get the shock factor and for us to be shook, she did just that in that pleading. So I'm trying to understand, what more did you guys want from this lady? And I was kind of pissed off because this is something that I had to deal with, even being, since I've been doing YouTube. People have their personal issues with folks, and then they want you to take all the bullets for them instead of you standing on your own like she did. And if you got an alt, you got till Friday under the Adult Survivors Statute to go file it yourself. And I think people just wanted her to keep going through it so they can piggyback off of it, and they can hurt him, like keep dragging him, but you in the background because you don't have the courage to come forward. So you're in the background watching her get dragged, watching her sex life be put on the stand, let her being highlighted. She has kids, she has a husband, you know, all of this stuff is going to be highlighted. She got to go through this. She has to do depositions, she has to do medical examinations. She has, because yes, you can order the other side to do independent medical examinations because you don't like what their doctor said. I can send you to a psychiatrist because I don't like what your psychiatrist say. Your psychiatrist says you have anxiety. I'm gonna get a psychiatrist to say you ain't got nothing wrong with you. And then the jury is gonna choose who is credible as the psychiatrist. That's how this whole litigation works. It's not simple. You can do discovery for like 9 months, sometimes even more than that. Litigation can be long and drawn out. She's already literally poured out and gave so much intimate details. I just didn't understand what people wanted. Well, we feel like he should have took more accountability. Well, what else did you think was going to happen? He's dragged. It's going to be backlash. More people are coming out. Videos that people ignored for 20 years all of a sudden are coming back out, being resurfaced. Well, like, what else did you? She said she was very bold and courageous for that lawsuit within itself. So to make her feel like because she didn't go through the long drawn out process, and you got to pay your lawyers all the costs, because of that, I think was just wrong of just people that thought that way. People like to use people to be their bulletproof vest. And if you don't have the courage, that's not my job. If you got to audit against somebody that I'm going up with, no, I'm not going to talk about them every day. I'm not going to drag people every single day. That's on you. Like, you go and you fight the fight. You fight the good fight. Half these people I don't even know, and they ain't did nothing to me. So why you got, you know what I'm saying? I think that was the thing with Cassie that was irritating me. But that's it. I just had to get that off my chest because baby, they still going at me on the shade room, going back and forth. I'm like, this post was 3 days ago. I'm like, why are y'all still, every time I'm getting all these alerts, you have a comment, you have another comment, you have, like, people just want to argue with me just because I have just, and then they always say that, and you're supposed to be a lawyer, and this is how you think. I'm like, I know the process. I do the process on a daily basis. I don't just do it on TV. Like, yes, this is the process. I think that it was great. If you can get the same amount of money now and you don't got to wait 2 years from now and go through the whole legal process, press being in your hearing, you know, the press would have been, it's in federal court. So at least it would allow where they don't let cameras and all of that in there. But you think everybody wouldn't have been there for every hearing trying to get all the deets on what was going on? Everybody, every motion that was filed, we'll be reading it. We'll be reading it right here on this platform. Anyways. Ooh, Regina said Jamie doesn't like black women. I'm going to have to disagree because I know a black woman that he's messed with. So that's not necessarily so. These folks better file their cases against Diddy before he's broke. Thank you, Miss B. Yes, please join the channel if you haven't done so. Toria said, then the amount of depositions that had to be done, that case would took 2 or more years to hit the courtroom, relive the story over and over. Deposition, the story would have been relived. Interrogatory documents, it would have been relived. Every hearing, it would have been relived. All of the news clips, it would have been relived. All of us on YouTube, it would have been relived. I'm not mad at her. Diddy gave up one of the things he apparently loves most, his money. Cassie did not owe it to us to be the poster child for relationship. That's all I was saying. They were really like coming for you, girl. Y'all got to come. I'm gonna have to let you guys know when they come for me on the shade room, so you guys could come in and have my back. Cause baby, I was up here like, this is what I was doing on the shade room. I had a lot of people that agree with me. I probably had 2,000, likes or something like that. But baby, they like to argue with me. I'm like, just because you got Esquire at the end on me, you just want to argue all the dang on time. Denise says she pulled back the curtains. I'm sorry, this is coming up late. She pulled back the curtains, so to speak. It took a lot, I'm sure, for her to do that. Yes. Devin said, I want him jail. It's a lot of statute of limitation issues on the criminal aspect. Now, if there really was some type of trafficking, that's probably what really shook him. I don't know. Somebody can look that up. I don't know if there's a statute of limitation on that. That's something totally different. Yep. TA said Diddy's losing business. Mason's is cutting ties. He's going to suffer. Also, I saw that on Revolt TV, there's people that didn't renew their contracts, some of their higher viewed podcasts that were like, we're not renewing. Royalty 085 said the men in the hip hop community need to hold Diddy accountable. Like who? Because it seemed like some of them is coming down too. There's a lawsuit. Somebody filed a lawsuit on November 9th against LA Reid. We didn't go through that over here. I'm waiting on LA Reid to respond because he literally just got served the lawsuit 2 days ago. So I may go over that as well. So who? I'm who in the industry can really from that era, like the Diddy's, remember it was Suge Knight. He was one of the gatekeepers, quote, back then. He's in jail. I want to see what Diddy and his Tupac, because I think it was strategic why Cassie mentioned Suge Knight in her complaint. So I want to see what goes on with that with Tupac too. Man, they real wild. I was like, listen, I had to let them know. I'm like, okay, Aubrey has been speaking up, but she just doesn't. She doesn't have that power. She doesn't have that star power. Well, she can say like the whole situation of Diddy. We all knew it was a little suspect that Mace had been trying to pay Diddy millions to get his catalog. Then suddenly you want to pay people. So we all knew it was something to it. Most of us was like, well, what's that all about? Why all of a sudden is he willing to pay? And then Aubrey did disclose that he wanted people to sign NDAs. So I give your catalog for free, but you got to sign an NDA and you have to agree not to talk bad about me, not to sue me, whatever it says. She read it, and that was one of the reasons why she didn't sign it, or she didn't take her catalog. And some of those people were like, their catalog wasn't making money anyway. So why are you giving me 25-year-old catalogs that don't nobody want to listen to anyhow? So yeah. So that was another, but we're gonna see. You said that's the second or third lawsuit that LA has gotten this year. Oh wow. Okay, AK. You know what? Yep. Diddy would probably would have a fit if any of the things that's alleged that he did happen to anybody that he loves. Okay, Shirley said, I work for trauma centers and I can attest that many victims reach out to us years later. They feel humiliated and blame themselves. They try to forget and move on, but can't without therapy. I can see that definitely. Or you feel like, did you do something to make it happen? Did you, a lot of people do blame themselves for that. And you were gonna, if you guys stop talking about LA Reid is straight, that's all y'all getting out of this. I need you guys to focus here. We up here, the whole Me Too movement has restarted in the hip hop community, and we're trying to get a grab. You're gonna get some people, and people may not agree with me, but you are gonna get some people who their claims are gonna be a little shaky, and you're gonna get some people that are just as powerful as Cassie, as we saw. But again, Cassie bled on her pleading. She literally, her whole heart was in that whole complaint. That I wouldn't expect anybody to put that much information in there, to the point where they had to put a trigger warning on the top of it. She was very, the fact that she allowed someone to tell her story, an attorney to tell her story like that in a pleading, she wanted people to know what she went through. And regardless to whether, again, whether she went through with it, whether she settled, whatever, you cannot unsee what was in that complaint. Nobody can unsee that. Nobody can unsee that. Effie Gray said, I agree with your Aubrey position. I wonder, did she sign an NDA in her relationships? Because if she feels like Diddy is getting away with crimes because of money, she should file her own complaint. I don't, you know what? I don't understand what Aubrey's total gripe is. Maybe you guys can help me out. Because now I remember making the band. I believe Diddy was a whole jerk. I believe making the band walk to go get cheesecake was absolutely ridiculous. And when he fired Aubrey, I remember that scene where he was like, basically, you think you bigger than a group or whatever he said, and he let her go. That cockiness that he had, a lot of that stuff was just like, I didn't really care for him watching Making the Band. And then to me, even with Day 26, like, you put together great groups, but it's almost like I'm not going to say it's almost like, because the track record speaks for itself. Aside from like a Mary J. Blige, who was continuously touring and doing stuff, what is Day 26 doing? Rob, who is from Detroit, I used to just see him, just, and I know they're trying to tour now and do shows. I don't know about touring, but they are trying to do shows and stuff. But what are they really doing? Remember, he did the whole Danity Kane, and then he took Don and two other ones or something and created a whole nother group. Like, he gonna get you one really good solid album. That's what it sounded like he was doing back in the day. But after that, you was almost on your own. He treated Lori Ann Gibson like trash. Michael Bivins also. Wow. Okay, Tracy said the statute of limitation for the state of New York for trafficking is 15 years for civil. I need to know about criminal, Tracy, if you could look up criminal. Because she already has, in her lawsuit, it was dismissed with prejudice. So she can't bring any more civil claims back. She being Cassie, she can't bring those back. C.A. Williams said, I admit that I don't remember some of these people. I didn't like him on a little bit of Making a Band I saw, so I refused to watch. Listen, I didn't even know what song Cassie sung. I'm going to be perfectly honest. I knew he was with her because she was on his arm, so I do remember her being around. But I honestly, until I read that complaint, I didn't know she made the top 200 or whatever on Billboards. I did not know what song that lady sung. So I can, as a consumer, I can attest that whatever he did, he was holding back holding her back from putting out albums, because it wasn't much going on about Cassie. I forgot which one was on Love and Hip Hop, but he said Day 26 would still have been together, but it was too much jealousy in the group. Yeah, the one that was married and was allegedly, he was always married. The one on Love and Hip Hop, he was even married when they did the whole Making the Band. And he was having like cheating allegations and all of that. Yep, I remember that. Me and You was the first single. Okay. And what else she do after that? He claimed to love Biggie, but never. Thank you, Tyra, for the cash app, sweetie. I appreciate it. Let me go look up this Me and You. What is that? We done went on to something else. We done stopped talking about Jamie Foxx, which is the title, and we back on Cassie. Me and You. Me and You. Cassie. I'm gonna put this on mute real quick so I could thank you, LaVersa, again for the cash app. I appreciate you. Okay, I'm gonna put this on mute right quick so I can listen to the song, because I don't want them flagging my stuff, because Diddy probably gonna have it out for me. You know what I'm saying? So he not gonna let me get away with playing his stuff on here. Let me see. Because he definitely owns it. Let's see. Okay, I remember this song. Okay, I remember. I remember. It brought back some memory. Okay, she wasn't that great of no singer like that, if I recall correctly. But she was kind of like a J Lo, like she had the look and all of that. But yeah, you said remember that video Puffy put out about 5 or 6 years ago with him and Cassie mostly naked throughout most of the. I don't even remember Kim Johnson. No, I don't remember that. Oh my. You said not to. We love you, Cassie, and we think you're brave, but now we're just talking about the music aspects of it. Oh my goodness. Classic couldn't be a Jane Doe. Everyone would know who by the details. Oh, Cassie. Okay. That is true. Everybody would have figured it out. That's true. That's true. Okay. Jackson said the scale of justice is about to remove that blindfold to look at some of these foods with a side eye. I hear you. So y'all be out. This is the intellect's job now. You guys all have my Instagram, pam.esq on Instagram. Follow me if you haven't done so. I am the same. I think what am I on Twitter? Law and the Law Intellect. I need y'all to make sure you follow me. And I want you guys to inbox me or DM me when you see these cases if they start coming down so I can make sure I pull the documents. Because it would be faster for me to be able to do that if I get the intellect's help so I can go on because I do still work and I still do practice full time. So last week, the reason why I haven't been on all week and I just came on Wednesday is because I came on about 7 times last week with all the news that was coming that I was so behind on my work that I was like, I love y'all on YouTube, but I got to get my life together. So that's why I'm behind on a lot of this. And that's why I had to I think it was yesterday was when the Harvey Pierre case came out. So that's why I was going to do it today. But then because this Jamie Foxx came out immediately, I was like, well, let me go ahead and do this. And then we'll just do that perhaps tomorrow. But I had to delete it because you guys were over there chilling on the video waiting on me to start, even though I moved it to tomorrow. So I'll repost it if we do it tomorrow night. If you guys are available, because I know you'll probably be with your family. Did you know that Sonya has started recording her own phone calls from prison and releasing them on YouTube? I did know that. I did. Thought it was very interesting and not that smart. But I'm not going to say why it's not that smart. But yeah, life point they are. They are life points with Rhonda. A lot of this I explained it in the beginning if you just got here or missed part of it or missed the lawsuit because the lawsuit was on the first half of the video. Is because there are statutes that give you a limitation, an extension. So they revive your claims that, but for these statutes that New York enacted, they would be, their cases would get dismissed for being outside the statute of limitation. So they gave them a short window within a year, probably because they knew that it would be an influx of cases in already congested courts, because some of these courts need more judges for sure, but they revived it within a certain window. So if you made it within a certain window of the Adult Survivor Statute and also with the gender targeted statute, then they'll let you revive it, even if by any other means it would have been denied by a statute of limitation issue. I was hanging out with some people New Year's Eve in 2015 when Diddy and Cassie walked in. I was shocked because I had no clue they were still dating. Then, wow, that's when Johnny Jacob. Thank you so much for that comment. You said please go live tomorrow. I don't know if you want the family to watch about another assault case. Well, that case is not that detailed. It's a very quick read, kind of like this one. They do allege deeper allegations than this Jamie Foxx. Well, I don't want to like compare it because trauma is trauma, but they do allege different allegations, but it's not as detailed as like what Cassie's is. Yeah, trauma is trauma. So I'll take that back. I apologize. I don't want to make it seem like I'm making anything light of anybody's trauma. Thank you. Thank you. Not bald headed Pam. I'm bald headed Pam from one person, and then I'm Pammy Pam from another person. So I get all type of nicknames. I'm also social media lawyer. I've gotten a lot of names from people that got mad. I covered them. Effie Gray said, do celebrities have a different filing protocol? How does the media find them with millions of people and some with similar names? Can you talk about NDAs and could they cover up crimes? So most of the time, in my opinion, because you don't really know, sometimes attorneys tip the media off. They let them know that they're about to file because they want it to be out there. And some do a lot of things. They want the publicity because, again, what happened with Diddy when if we didn't know nothing about it, do you think Diddy probably would have went a little bit further and not settled so fast? It was the public knowing about it. So sometimes you can look at some of these filings as PR moves as well. So they may ask you, hey, we're giving you the heads up because they know you're media at Rolling Stone or they know you're at TMZ. You also have some people that work in some of these entities. It is public record for the courts that probably tip off people and say, hey, I just want to let you know this. They have people posted in a lot of places. So there's a lot of ways that they may get this information. And so, yeah, you're right. No, you don't just sit there and wait, like, let's see what get filed. Let's see what happens today. It's like impossible for you to do that because you have hundreds of cases, sometimes thousands of cases getting filed each week. So how are you going to cipher through it? I think now people are going to pay attention, especially in New York, because of we knowing that this expiration date is coming up for these statutes. So we want to see who filed what, when, or which way, or how. NDAs, do I think they can cover up crimes? Well, if you can't talk about your boss, if you can't talk about their family, usually they're all encumbrances. So they'll have your family, they have your dog. Don't talk about my dog eat generic food. Like you can't talk about anything, and they have very specific. You can't talk about the work. You can't talk about different business practices. You can't anything. You can't talk bad. You can't disparage them. All of that stuff are usually in the NDAs. So yeah, and some things are indefinitely. Some have expiration dates. I think expiration dates are what's more legal because you can have unconscionable contracts as well. And if the court deems them unconscionable, they're null and void. So with NDAs, yeah, I think as a celebrity, you have to have NDA. I think it's crazy not to have NDAs, to be honest. And that's just because they should have time limits. But you will have people that just imagine having a housekeeper or something that come and work for you and you're a celebrity. And they know that a TMZ or somebody else will pay me money for me to go sneak pictures, for me to tell you, oh, y'all don't know this, but he's dating blah, 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 blah. How would you keep them from not telling, not even necessarily crimes, but just your personal business? You cannot have a personal side at all without an NDA. When Kanye West was doing those church choirs or whatever, and he was going from state to state, he had NDAs for people that decided to sing in the choirs with them. Like, and they had the Kardashians in it. You couldn't talk about them Kardashians, anything. Just take pictures because he knew that his family may come with them. So don't be trying to talk to Kim and them. Don't be trying to talk to my kids. Don't try to take pictures. Because if you're a choir and you're on stage, obviously you're going to be backstage and you'll probably be with this family. So I think it's necessary. It should have its limitations, but it is necessary. Thank you so much, Jana Seven, for becoming a YouTube member. I appreciate you. Happy Thanksgiving to you too. Same as sexual harassment in workplace. The first time it happens, you need to say it loud, not interested. And if they come back again, it's harassment. I'm not talking about touching, but verbal. Yes, Regina. And the thing is, it doesn't, I'm by no means again trying to negate anything that happened or say that anybody got the right to just assume that they can do that. But you do, if you have an unwanted touch, how do I know that it's unwanted? A lot of celebrities, unfortunately, there are people that throw their drawers at them. There are people that just come up and they scream. There are people that celebrities, they have to have their own private security to follow them because it's women that will climb through their windows and go get in a bed with them that they don't know. There are women that will come and bust live with them while they're walking down the street, so they do. I think sometimes they end up getting this sense of entitlement, an inflated sense of entitlement that unless you tell them you're not interested, they just almost assume that you are. If but for you may not even think they're your type, you may not even think they're cute. It may just be because they know because I'm a celebrity. They know you're using them because they're a celebrity. You seen like in that complaint how she said, okay, so the staff went because everybody was crowding Jamie Foxx. They moved them away, but they were just next to them at the table. Now you knew that they didn't want the crowd over there, right? Because they had the people move them away. But your friend, according to the lawsuit, went over there and said, can you take a picture with me and my friend? After they had just moved all these people crowding them. So this is what this is what they deal with. She said, I'm happy I'm not a celebrity. Well, U.S. lawyers said this is nothing more than legal extortion. These adult women are willing to engage in all kinds of prevent sex for years and feign victimhood when the money stops. I don't believe that's everybody's testimony, but I do believe there is some testimonies like that. I am not one that just believes everybody. I'm just not. There, I believe that some people do have money grabs. I've seen it. I've definitely seen it in real life. So there are some people that feel like they can get money off of you, and that's what they do. Now, these celebrities, they have to. Let me tell you how bad it is to be a celebrity. I was looking at something when I was looking this case up. These celebrities get sued all the time by pro per people who make some of the weirdest allegations that you have ever seen in your life. Like they will they're pro per. I saw one lawsuit. I'm not gonna pull it because it was just too much. They sued Beyonce. They sued Sean Puffy Combs. They sued Mary J. Blige. They sued Nicki Minaj. They almost every person that you can think of out of New York. It was about 50 people in the complaint that they sued. Pro per. And they just made all these wild allegations. Of course, the court ended up dismissing it, saying it was frivolous. But another case, I think it was Puffy had to get an actual lawyer because the dude was like suing the Illuminati. He was suing Sean Puffy Combs. He was suing um I think Jay-Z was in that one. But there are so many cases that have been filed, and they're most of them are pro se. They're pro se, were meaning that they don't get lawyers, they just do it themselves. So they get sued all the time, and even some of the stuff is just ridiculously frivolous. I was looking like, wow, the fact that someone filed this is wild. Wild. But yeah. So anyway. What they say they harass them in their dream. I don't even want to let me see one of these cases because I don't even want y'all to even y'all probably like this lady. Let me see if I could pull it up. It was, I think it was Sean Combs. Here you go. I'm not. So this is one of the cases. Let me see if I can share my screen. Okay, this is Maurice Brown. It's against the Scottish fraternal Illuminati Mason, Sean C. Carter, Beyonce Knowles Carter, Sean J. Combs, Kylie K. Jenner, Kris Jenner, Kimberly Kardashian, Ellen DeGeneres, and Robert R. Williams. And y'all see, this is really a case. Okay, this is really a case. I did not make this up. This is the type of stuff that gets filed in New York. Not the eyes. I listen, and I don't know what the complaint was, but I think they were getting restraining orders or trying to get restraining orders or something against them, because this was the person on behalf of Sean Combs. So they were like, I'm an attorney and so share, because all of the pleadings aren't even on there. I don't even know what his actual complaint is, what he's alleging against all these people. He said, I submit this affirmation in opposition to the motion and application of pro se plaintiff. He tried to do a temporary restraining order against them. So I guess to say maybe they was coming to get him or something. So he was trying to get a restraining order against them. And so look, Diddy really got an attorney for this. He had to get an attorney to fight this. Listen, Andrea, I don't even want to know. I'm mad I put it on my screen. I don't even be, But half the pleadings are on there. It doesn't have like all of the complaint. I don't even know if did the court feel like it was so outrageous that they just took it down and they don't even let you pull it. It literally, because I was trying to see, I'm like, what accusations you got against them? This is a litigious. This was, you said, how was Robin Williams? Sorry. This is a litigious generation. People just sue for anything. I mean, that's just what it is. And so, unfortunately, sometimes you really have to get a lawyer because of that. So, yeah. You said some of these lawsuits look like a quick grab. All right, y'all. I'm out of here. Thank you so much for watching. Yo, girl, we had over 1,000 here on this last minute live. I'm going to try my best to come and rock and kick it with you guys on tomorrow. Thank you so much for rocking with me. Make sure you hit that like button on your way out. Subscribe if you have not done so already. You all enjoy the rest of your night. If I don't talk to you guys, have a great Thanksgiving. If you guys celebrate it, make sure that you let everybody know how thankful you are. Love on your family. You never know how long you got, man. Life is short. Love on your family. I'm gonna talk to you guys next time. Gotta go.